Alrighty, now we're on. This is Aline, Castiel. I was almost going to say what I said on my videos on YouTube. Your favorite Brazilian, but I know that Gisele is the favorite Brazilian of people outside. But okay, going from alhos to bugalhos. The objective of this class or this presentation is just to pass along what it means to be working as a VA, what's in it for you um, if you are, for example, studying you're at university and you can take full advantage of your skill, of your English skill, your writing skills, your speaking skills, your understanding skills. You can become a VA, a virtual assistant. Um, there's no need for previous specific experience to work as a VA, although a good understanding and communication, we're going to talk about that really briefly, will be ideal. So, how much does a virtual assistant earn? Since we're speaking here with people that are interested in working in the English language with foreigners, all right, with Americans, Australians, people from the UK, um, we are talking in terms of dollars, which is fabulous. So I've been working as a VA for 8 months now, but previously to that, I used to work as a social media for therapists and coaches here in Brazil, and I just made this shift. I changed from Portuguese to English, and I know how it can be overwhelming, especially because it's not our mother language, and you can't really convey all you want in the other language, even though you have studied English, even though you listen to lots of series, podcasts, and videos that I know on YouTube. It's different when we start working. So I got you. And what I can tell you is it's really possible to do that. The way I started is the way I'm really conveying the message to you here, which is first of all, we need to build some confidence. So, in the ideal world, we would work and get paid instantaneously. But when you're still getting started to do something new, even though you have done that before in Portuguese, in your mother language, but you're starting to do that in another language, which is English, you need to first build that safety net, that confidence that you're able to deliver. And the way to do that is offering free services, free tasks, free week service or monthly service, so that the person that you're building this relationship, and it's all about building the relationship, can rest assured that she can trust you. She can trust that you are in it with her, that you won't leave her hanging there and not communicate what's going on or giving her feedback. So, starting for free is a great way of gaining experience. And let me pause just a bit to say the same thing if you're doing in Portuguese, but you're doing something completely out of your comfort zone, of your lane of experience. Just offer to do it for free in exchange for testimonials, in exchange for social proof, and to build a portfolio. So when I started doing in English, I had like four or three clients, I think four. One of them I spent, I think, a month while I was doing a course in English. I just reached out to a few of the students, of my fellow students, and I said, I'm thinking about working as a virtual assistant. Would you be interested in that kind of job, that kind of help? and they were really sweet, and they said, oh, I might be needing, but I don't know exactly what I could delegate to you. So I started from there and did my Zoom calls, which was a new experience for me, although I am fluent in English, but it had been like, "Wah." I like 5 or 6 years since I had a connection that spoke the other language, apart from my great grandmother that married an American, but I don't have really close relationship with. So starting for free is a great way of gaining experience. From there, what can you do? Um, you can say, okay, now I think I got some experience. If it's the same client, and would you be willing to pay me per hour or per rate, right? And they would probably ask, okay, how much do you want to earn per hour? They're really familiar, especially in America, with hourly payments. So a VA, a virtual assistant, can range from $10 to $100 an hour, but actually, I already saw VAs earning $350 per hour, which is pretty fantastic if you ask me. But they are really technical VAs. What that means is they specialize in a software, like, for example, for architects, we have AutoCAD, AutoCAD. I don't know how it's pronounced. Or if you are in real estate, you have all this management, this property management softwares, and that they specialize in that. Or you can operate as a business, as an online business manager, which is taking care of all the structure, and you can get a good, amazing payment for doing that, operating a whole system of business. But when we are getting started and we have like a lot on our plates, maybe you are in school and you have to go to school, you have work to get done, you have your papers, right? And you have the time to gain familiarity with working in another language and communicating to another person apart from your family and friends in English. So start with the basic, start gaining movement and traction in what you're doing with general tasks, such as the ones I'm going to share with you in a bit. So from hourly payment, next, if you really like, you build a relationship with the client, or you established yourself as a virtual assistant, you have lots of testimonials, lots of social proof. What happens now is people are asking to have you as their VA, and you can simply put establish a plan, a monthly subscription. So for example, okay, I'll be available to you and your business for 10 hours a month, 20 hours a month, and then for this price, for $600, for $1,000 per month. And you can work in a monthly subscription plan and even start delegating some of your tasks or training other people to do them, some specific tasks, to scale your work and your time, for sure, because that's great. Working with hourly rates is a great start, but it's wonderful if we start thinking and building a mindset of working per results. But as virtual assistants, when we are starting, we don't really have results. And let's talk about what it means to have results as virtual assistants in a bit. But when you can guarantee that you're going to deliver at a time frame and you are consistent at doing that, and people start trusting you, that's where and when you can establish like a monthly subscription plan and leverage your hour, leverage your time, saying otherwise. You're going to leverage your time, and maybe you can perform tasks in 10 minutes, but you still receive the same amount of money. That is the ideal, but it can take a while to get there. It's not impossible. You can do it, but we need to keep it real. We're building skills, um, abilities here, and your name, your brand. All right. So the foundation of a good VA is good communication skills. That is number one, tops. Imagine that you just got in touch with someone that offered to do some tasks for you, to clean up your inbox, your mailbox, to create some graphics. And you talk to them and they said, okay, I'm really excited to get started. And then they just ghost you. They vanish for a whole week. Or you gave them a specific task. I want you to create a message template to send to my contact, to my list, and they didn't said when they're going to deliver. They just said, okay, got it, but ghosted you again. What would be your feelings? You probably feel like, well, this person doesn't give a damn about me. They just saying because they're saying it, but they don't really care. So communication skills are top notch, number one uh, thing that a good VA has. A good virtual assistant knows how to communicate, even though your English might be like rusty. I sometimes feel like my English is really, really rusty. I hear my clients saying, no, your English is so perfect. I can get you. I get you. I get that you're smart and I'm really impressed. But in my perspective, I always have the feeling that my vocabulary in Portuguese is way better and I don't know what I'm doing in English. So that is natural. But what you need to know about communication, when I say that communication is important, is sharing the message, right? So you have to be sure that the person that you're talking to, your client is specific or potential client, knows exactly what you're talking about. And you have that sense, you have the feeling. When they don't know what you're talking about, they start asking questions, right? And at the same time, you need to make sure to understand what it is that they want, what it is that they're seeking, and what it is that they're talking about. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I don't know, what is the software? I don't know, what do you need this for? I don't know your process. What comes next? What came later? I don't know. So you need to start asking questions and don't be afraid of the language gap, because if you are really into impressing the message, that's what you're going to focus on. Not your vocabulary, not your insecurities, but actually understanding what you need to do, what they expect from you, and giving them feedback of where you are at right now, when can you deliver, and if you have all the information necessary to perform the task they're delegating to you. So communication, number one. Technical skills comes next. What are technical skills? Tech comes actually from processes and knowing how to execute a process. So I have a process for writing. I have a process for example, I have a process to deliver papers, to deliver your final project on in university. You have a process for editing a video. You have a process for checking inboxes and organizing files and folders. All of that is technical skills. So before you go all crazy on it, technical skills means things that have processes and that you learn how to execute them. And you can say, okay, I can execute a video edit the way that it was intended for, the purpose that it was intended for. So communications and technical skills. And you can see how those two blend in, right? Because if a client wants you to perform, to use, for example, I think the name of the software I was going to use as an example is Pretzel, but I don't know if that is. If the client wants to use a software that is quite different from the ones you habitually use to perform that task, for example, to create graphics for a presentation, you have to be honest and say, I never used that before. Would it be all right if I could use PowerPoint, Canva? Would that work for you? If they say yes, okay, sweet. You have the technical skills to use Canva. You have the technical skills to use PowerPoint. Amazing. Or Excel or Word. But if the client says, no, look, I can only use this software because this is the software purchased by my company. I have access to it. When I open it's easy for me. It's all in one place. Then you got it. And you can simply put, okay, I can take a look at it and give you a feedback of if I got it, how long will it take to learn, how long I think will it take to learn. Communication first. That's why it comes communication. If you realize that the software is really hard, you can simply put and say, look, I thought this would take me like 10 hours to learn, and they pay for your learning as well. But this is going to take me like 20 hours to learn. This is going to take too long. Do you still want me to go through it, or would you rather give me other tasks to perform? Got it? Communication number one, technical skills go a long ways because you already have something to deliver. Of course, you have some things you know how to do. And even if you never had a course on it, I'm pretty sure you know how to answer to emails, to find out how to create template messages, to schedule, to deal with the scheduler for appointments, to call people. There's some tasks and skills that you already know how to assist someone because you've done them for yourself, for others, or out of pure curiosity. And you're going to build from there. You're going to start getting better at doing research. Research is something else that a VA can do for the other person. And as a student, you do lots of research, but you can get better at doing research and really organizing it in a deliverable way, in a report, for example. So, foundations of a good VA is communication first. You won't be able to understand what I'm saying if you're not familiar with the English language, right? So, understand the language is speak the language. You have to communicate in writing and through speech. You have to know how to ask questions, to learn how to ask questions. When in doubt, ask questions. Doesn't matter if they silly, if they dumb, if they stupid. No, there's no such thing as stupid question. Stupid questions. Always ask questions. Always, 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 always ask questions. So, um, the sharpening of our skills as virtual assistants will help. Actually, let me go back. As virtual assistants, you're going to assist certain tasks that the business or the person needs. Virtual tasks, remote tasks, wonderful, sweet, from the comfort of your home, of a cafe, of your school, of the university. And you're going to save time and money of somebody else's. So somebody else's time and money, and anticipate their needs. And yeah, I think I was going to say something else about virtual assistant, but basically, I think I forgot to share the concept, right? But virtual assistant is assisting virtually. And as we go through the tasks, is going to get more clear. What can you do? What service can you provide? Rule of gold, give people what they want. Now it's going to become clearer and clearer what a virtual assistant does. What do they want from a virtual assistant? Pace, deliver, and feedback. I don't know if you ever saw a movie from, I think, yeah, the name of the movie is The Devil Wears Prada. And Miranda Presley has like two assistants. Calm down. You're not going to be like those assistants. Not every client is like that. Actually, I never had a client like that. So don't worry. It's not Miranda Presley, but basically, an assistant attends clients' needs as they come, because life is movement, right? Things are happening all the time. So your client probably, if is a business client, if he's like a CEO of a corporation, or if he works giving lectures and attending conferences, and he travels a lot, maybe someday he can come to you and say, well, I was actually thinking of the tasks I'm providing you, if you could schedule, um if you could book my trip, do all my travel arrangements, set up a hotel room for me with this and this and that. And you have to be available. So when you are assisting someone, you're like in a support position where you butt in whenever you can and however you can with your skills. Okay, that's how we provide value as virtual assistants in a general way, until you get the hang of things and understand where do you want to specialize, if you want to specialize and create some more specific product, like um, like delivering copy sales, like doing solely graphic design work. But this is the entrance for working digitally from where you are right now. That's what I find amazing and fantastic, is that you can have the experience of, it's the entrance for performing digital tasks, for working as a digital nomad, if that's what you want for your life. This is the entrance, working as a virtual assistant, with the T. So you will help them organize tasks and processes, offer to deliver stuff spontaneously if you think you can do so, deliver within a communicated deadline. Well, that's so important. I need to highlight that, because deliver within a communicated deadline is the key. If you say you're going to do something and you don't say when you're going to deliver, they're going to wait for you to deliver by the end of the day, and they will have the feeling like the urge, what is going on? Why is she or is he not communicating with me? I thought it was okay. It's a simple task. Why is it taking so long to? So you have to be, again, communication is the key. I have to communicate. Okay, I can put this on my list of the day, or I won't be able to perform the task today, but I'll give you a deadline, 3 days. At least I would need at least 48 hours to be sure to deliver that to you, or by Friday, I will sure to deliver that to you. Or you can be honest and say, I have lots going on today. I would like to do it today, but I won't be able. So by tomorrow, I will start and give you a feedback of how long it will take. Always communicate. Key. You might need to answer phone and messages, if not right away, at least at the same day. Okay, even to say, okay, got you, is on my list, got you, I'll get back to you, is this urgent? This is pretty simple, but it helps a lot the other person to feel validated, to feel like, oh, okay, she's following my pace. Remember, pace, deliver, feedback. Every client has its pace, and you need to figure it out, the deliver system with the client, and always get feedback and provide feedback. When you deliver with attention to detail, giving feedback. Again, let's reinforce the pace, deliver, and feedback. Deliver with attention to detail, giving feedback on the task. That is super because they need to know how long it took to you to do that. If they don't have a clue or if they think like we know, right? You never done things for somebody else that they say, "Oh, this is so easy. It will take you a minute," but they never have done it because they always have someone else doing that for them. And then if you explain, okay, this took me around X hours to do it. Oh, it was tricky because of this and that and that and that. They will better understand what the tasks involve. And that is not as simple as pressing a button, right? This is important, okay, to level up the expectations. Otherwise, yes, we do have clients. I had one almost client, a potential client that I just, yeah, I said I can work with you because she did don't get it, and she's not um she doesn't understand how the tasks are performed online. She doesn't know anything about marketing, about setting things up online. So for her it was all, oh, you click here, you click there. And I was like, but have you ever tried? No, it's hard for me, but for you it's easy. So you need to level up expectations whenever you feel like it. You feel like the client is not getting that, is not as simple as pressing a button. So feedback is important. Okay. You need to be able to say, this was hard for me to perform, this was easy for me to perform, give me more of that easiest stuff. And if you want me to get good at the hard stuff, I will need more time, equals more money. Sorry. So another important thing working as a VA is that you need to store your client's password somewhere safe. Okay. This is really important. I actually I started using LastPass, but I'm not really acquainted with the two. But I do understand that um, I myself work in my own Wi-Fi, so I won't have the problem. But I do understand the problem of having a security system. So you can store those passwords on your Google Drive for starters, but be sure that you don't access a free Wi-Fi like a lobby in an airport or like a Starbucks Wi-Fi connection, because hackers are everywhere and it's pretty easy to steal those passwords, and it's your client's password. So store your passwords. Don't store it on a notepad and a sticky note and then forget it. Make sure to store those passwords because you're gonna need them. That happened to me, I think 2 weeks ago. I had to reboot my computer and then I lost some of the passwords, even from LastPass, and I had to do it all over again with my client. All the validation, two-factor validation, oh, verification, not validation, two-factor verification to be able to access his stuff. So a virtual assistant will have access to whatever tool is necessary. If you're working with Airbnb, you need to have access to Airbnb. If you're working with booking.com, you need to have access. You need to have access to Google Drive if that's the case, and he's not sharing only a folder with all information in it. You will be the one creating the folder and sharing with the client if he's not so tech savvy as you are. So you need to be really good at organizing stuff for working with someone else. Okay, in terms of communication, if the rule of thumb, the rule of goal is always communicate. What that means in terms of getting better at your English skills is checking your grammar, checking if you have spelling mistakes. Wow, that is super important because if you're working, for example, with text, you're creating templates, um, and you are communicating in a regular basis, you want to, with other people, with your clients, with your clients, um, perspective, perspectives, audience, you need to have a tool that will assist you in checking for errors, spelling mistakes. So this is one I use on my computer. You need to download the extension, the Google extension. It's right here. You see the puzzle piece. Uh, it's not this one, but if you click, we have, look, this extension. So you just go to Google, type Grammarly, and download Grammarly extension and download it. Put it on your browser. Every browser that you have, if you have more than one, I have more than one. This is for one of the Gmail accounts. You need to download that extension. What that extension will do is every time you type, and that extension, by the way, you can always also have on your computer. So when you're typing and communicating with your client, it appears, okay, error, mistakes, correct that, and you can correct. And at the same time, you were learning and improving the quality of your written materials, right? Because grammar mistakes are the number one source of, if this person can't even spell right, how can I hire them? You know? So we need to get good at our communication skills, because although the client might know you're not, English is not your primary language, the client will know that you are really, really doing the work to improve yourself, to improve your communication. And doing that, he will feel more secure and giving you and delegating you other tasks, more complex tasks. Alrighty. So download Grammarly. Another thing I use, and you can check here, it's open. I always check when in doubt. Am I writing this correctly? Because yes, we do have the extension, but sometimes it takes a while to detect the misspelled word. It takes a while to detect them. So when in doubt and you are in a hurry, you need to deliver that graphic, that template. Always check. We are also really, really, really not really, really, really. We are we are also it's great for us because we can also rely on AI tools as Chat GPT to organize and structure template messages, and we just tweak it a little bit, which is great, fabulous, wonderful, that get things going and flowing. So it's something we can also learn how to work with. AI, great for a VA. But when in doubt, always check. Always check if you're spelling correctly. See, here's an example. Install has two L's. So if you were typing install and you're like, it didn't detect, Grammarly didn't detect, but I'm in doubt. Am I writing this correctly? So I go to lingui.com and I check. Always check when in doubt. Always check, double check. What that will do for you is you will develop your sense of, oh, this is correct spelling, and you will be able to detect faster if you have many mistakes in one sentence, and will improve the quality of your work when you're delivering it as well, because you won't get the feedback. Okay, we have misspelled words here in this thumbnail. We have misspelled words here in this email response. So what the client will do when he realizes you're really making like too many mistakes, when he realizes you providing text with lots of mistakes in it, he will start to doubt your ability of providing a task without him having to go through it. So he'll stop delegating you stuff because he realized that his feedback is not being followed. So If he gives you feedback, okay, this is a little mistake, that's okay, but you do the same mistake again, he's like, oh, okay, she or he is not even paying attention. I already correct them once, twice, three times, four times, and again the same mistake. So be clear on that because it will help you a lot. And we all do have strengths and weaknesses, especially when it comes to another language. Have I just doubled the same slide? I think I did, but okay. So when you are prospecting a new client for yourself, you need to agree upon the means of regular communication. Will it be Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram? Are you having regular meetings? You can ask them. Do you want to have video calls every week, every 15 days, or telephone calls? Wait a second, guys. I need to. I love it. Need to cough a bit. Sorry. So you need to ask if they want to, how do they want to communicate with you on a regular basis, a day-to-day basis, to give you feedback, to give you more tasks back and forth. If it's through Facebook message, WhatsApp, Telegram, and other that you're not familiar with, and you can just like suggest, look, would it be okay if we talked over WhatsApp? Oh, okay. And if they want to have a more in-depth connection, like having a live Zoom call, a live Google Meet call, or telephone call on a regular basis. Depends on the client. Um, Another idea is you open a folder for every client and share with them if they are not tech savvy and they don't want to be the ones in charge of doing that yet. You are especially beginning something new with them. They never worked with a VA before. You never worked with a client or too many clients. So you want to create something that works for both of you and gets you going from where you are. Just open your folder on Google Drive. If he hasn't opened or she hasn't opened, just offer yourself to do that and share the link for them to share the files they need, so that you can get started. If they are paying clients, you ask them, you need to ask them, when do they prefer to receive invoices? What are invoices, Aline? When you're working with clients from America and other parts of the world, you are going to be the one to send invoices, which is similar to faturas here in Brazil. You will need to send them. They need that for their taxes. So you will work as an independent contractor. You will need to be sending invoices with a value to be paid for them, and they will accept and pay the value. And if you're working on a monthly subscription or getting weekly payments for the hours you worked, you need to ask them how they prefer to pay you. If weekly works for them, monthly works for them, what day of the month, 5, 10, 15, and just it's easier if you set this uh, when you start getting paid right from the start, so you don't have that, oh, I'm gonna send this and they don't know I'm sending this. Oh, they might not like that day. So to get this over with, just ask them when it works best for them. So you can send invoices and just write on your schedule. Send invoices to X client to day 10 of each month. Communicate your disponibility. Okay, if you having a pay client, or even if you're working to have testimonials, you're working to sharpen your skills, communicate how available are you. Okay, I'm available to work with you, but how many hours? 2 hours a week, 3 hours, 10 hours. You need to communicate that. That is really important. Make sure to do that. And these are the tasks for us to get to finish our presentation. This is some of the tasks, general tasks, okay? Nothing really truly into depth of each of those tasks, because of course, if you want to uh, get pro at doing this stuff, you would need to specialize in it and to work only with that for many hours, taking courses, right? Different materials, and then you will specialize. But for the purpose of being a virtual assistant, you need to understand the general tasks that you can perform for your client. And that includes doing graphics, graphic design for social media, presentations, ebooks, you name it. Everything that involves graphics, that you can use simple apps like Canva. Um, if you are familiar with Photoshop, you can use it too. Uh, and video editing, CapCut, Movavi, Filmora, other more like DaVinci, other more in-depth and professional software. You can use it as well, but that takes a while to learn. So that's what I'm saying. A virtual assistant needs to get tools that are easier for them to work with. So some of those, for example, Canva, are like a go-to for everyone because they're easy to understand. The design you need to test on your skin. Scheduling posts and appointments is another thing. We have a bunch of scheduling tools like Calendly, and we have another one that I forgot the name, but is also, we have it also free trial. Appointments, you can use Google, you can use other work with what works for you best. If you do a research online, and here we are also going to start to provide some other tools that you can use, but work with what works for you best. Video editing is another thing a VA can do. Researching content, venues, leads. Leads is what? People interest. Leads are people that are interested in what your client has to provide, whether it's lectures, consultation, or to collab in a project. These are leads. Book travels, and accommodations, lead generation, create a means or direct contact people that might be interested in what your client has to provide, and then fill out a database with that. It's lead generation. Another way to lead generate that is more technical is creating a funnel, creating landing pages, setting up email marketing sequence. But that all you can learn as you go. You need to know the general essence of things to understand where you want to perform, where you perform best. Because as I said, you can specialize in lead generation, and that will take a while. But the essence of every one of those tasks, you can get it and grasp it. Organizing files, folders, and improving operational processes. Email and inbox managing. So your client has lots of emails. You can just rearrange them. You can put tags on them, create folders to organize. Integrations and automations, which means is creating automatic messages like for WhatsApp, integrating with other apps. We have, for example, something called Zapier. I never used it, but I know of VAs that
Aline,
have used it. What?
uh, can you later put some suggestions of tools to every aspect of those? Like, for example, scheduling tools. What would you recommend us to have to understand previously?
Yeah, I will actually, this is just an introduction, right? So this is an
Oh,
introduction for whoever comes and want to understand a little bit more of virtual assistants, right?
mhm.
So we will cover some things in the future along the way. But yeah, the purpose of this presentation is not to go in depth in all of that, because like I said, depends on the virtual assistant, depends on the previous skill set, what they like, the interest. For example, if you work with art and you are an art student, you probably know more software than I do, and you are familiar with that software. So if you get a client from that ambience, you will be able to connect with them and assist them and earn some money on that. Okay. So this is just like a list of things, of general things you need to keep in mind, that you can assist as a virtual assistant. And when the client comes to you with the problem or with the tasks, you know where you can budge in, you know where you can say, oh, okay, I can do something about it. Look for it, research it, a better provider. So for example, Jenna asked me one day if I could find a specific software to, I think was payment or something like that. I never worked with a software like that, but I could tell her, okay, we only have paid options here for what you need in the frequency that you need. So that was an information, a valid information. Just a second, guys. Ai, muito obrigada, seu Antônio, valeu. So this is just a list of general tasks that a VA can perform. Another one is keeping online records. Um, wait, my batteries, just my mouse batteries. Web maintenance. Wow, that one, depending on your skills, will require a previous knowledge of how to operate, for example, WordPress, plugins, or the other um the other software you're using, like GoDaddy or MailChimp. Social media maintenance, that means uh, taking care of messages, checking if the posts are being posted, if they have contacts there, if someone tries to contact them, if the links are working, that kind of things. And also sometimes posting for them, posting and creating some repurposing content. Okay, repurposing content means the client creates the content and you just repurpose that content for new graphics and you post them, or you just repurpose the text. Another task a VA can do is customer relationship. So following up with customers, with potential buyers, sharing content from social media, sharing content via email, or even responding doubts on WhatsApp or other platforms they have, like Facebook groups. Data entry is something that we do a lot, which is you have a spreadsheet. Let's for example, the client asked you to look for leaders of the industry, of the pharmaceutical industry, and they want you to put their contacts. That data entry actually goes along with some other activity if it's not already done. So if they have like a PDF that they want you to take some information like email and number and put it on a spreadsheet, that's data entry. But data entry actually most times comes combined with something else like lead generation. So they might ask you to search for leaders of the industry and then put it on a spreadsheet, the name, the email, and the phone number. That is something you can do as a VA also. Creating sales copy and or engaging in copywriting. Learning to create persuasive titles and structures to talk with clients. That sales copy and copywriting, something that will really help is AI. Artificial intelligence helps a lot with that, but it's something also that you can get specialized. Working as a VA, you have naturally a tendency to walk towards understanding human behavior, marketing, and sales. So, something else you can do is manage advertisements. We have some tools, scheduling tools, where you can do all it in once, but you can also help them organize and check if they want to boost a post, if they want to actually create a campaign, and you can set that up on Facebook ads or Google ads. Of course, if you feel secure doing so or learning how to do so and communicating, okay, I'm going to take a course on Google ads this weekend and I want to try. Can I do it? They will probably say yes, because is way cheaper than hiring someone to do specifically that job if they only need it for like a test, a trial, or sporadically. Making outbound calls and handling incoming phone calls. Making outbound calls is basically you reaching out to people outside. You reaching out to people instead of people coming to you, in the sense of you creating content and generating that attraction. So making outbound calls is basically you taking the phone, reaching out, communicating something your client wants you to communicate, inviting them to do something, maybe attending a workshop, maybe booking an appointment with your client, and handling incoming phone calls of people interested in something like a property, for example. Another thing a VA can do is help with live stream and presentation support. This is fabulous and fantastic. Google Meet, Zoom calls, Zoom classes, live streams on Instagram, YouTube, or using a tool called StreamYard to just stream all over social media. Help with the live chats, people asking questions, put links in it. That is something also, sharing in WhatsApp, WhatsApp groups, and being WhatsApp support for attendees. This is something a VA can do. And personal assistants, the last one I have put here, which means assisting in the personal lives, maybe even searching for specific things like makeup, like salons. And so we do have a great market for personal assistants, someone that can attend all areas of a person's life, especially helping them with their household chores, their kids, school, um, courses, buying things, booking stuff, calling places to do budget. That's that kind of thing a VA can do too. And you can get specialized in being a personal assistant, maybe of a CEO or a high executive. Alrighty. So yeah, I said that was the last thing I was talking to you about, but actually it appears not to be. So I think this is the one. This is the last one. Where to start when your client doesn't know what to delegate first. So I put together this questions right here for you to have a sense of what can you ask to better understand what can you do. So you can create a folder, not a folder, but a form asking those questions, or you can do a Zoom call and ask them, take notes, record it, do as you like, as it will serve you best. The first question, what um what are you trying? What are you trying to accomplish right now? Be as specific as you can. So you can say and you can give an example. I'm trying to sell this to this target audience using X strategy. So you get the sense of where the client is at, because we are all in our own minds. And if he doesn't get the question, rephrase it. I want to understand what your objectives are right now, what you've done so far, right? What was right, what went wrong, what you're thinking about doing now. Okay? Getting the picture of where is he going, what is the objective here. How do you prefer to virtually communicate? Here you get a sense of this person's communication skills. There are people that are more introverted. They don't like to get too much in touch with anyone, so they rather just text and not make phone calls or Zoom calls. So you get the sense of who is this person. What software, apps, web pages do you use to organize yourself and your documents? Here, of course, when you are on a first call with a person, the person is not going to tell you everything, of course, but you have this a sense of what is on their mind right now, which is pretty amazing. So they'll say, "Oh, I access this site a lot to check the quotes, um, to check the market, or I access this a lot to check if there's any bookings, or I'm always on Google Drive because I do my work there." So you get a sense. What software, apps, web pages do you use for work is another phrase you can use to capture if they are too if they are on the personal space, they wanted to do something for their work, but there's so much on their personal space. Maybe they went on vacation, so they're not talking about the work, and then you can move them to that place where they remember what they do generally do on their work, asking that question. With whom do you usually need to communicate and where? Here you get a sense of the network that you're going to be part of it. So a virtual assistant is always part of the network. If you are a personal assistant you will be part of the network, understanding who are the spouses, kids, family members, co-workers, closer co-workers. If you're working with someone in business, you get a sense of who is the audience, who are the partners. Okay, this is important for you to understand how do they communicate, where do they communicate, and how frequently. Do you create online content is another question you can make. Where and with what frequency? So you know how tech savvy is your client. If he uses social media for leveraging his business, and you understand what social media he likes to use, he's more familiar with. Is there a specific work process requiring more specialized assistance? If so, what are the software, apps, web pages being used? Okay, here we get a sense of, for example, the architect that uses AutoCAD, or the designer that uses specific tools for their work. And this will help you at least research and understand what that tool does, so you can get a better sense of who is your client, and maybe even help him preparing things he needs for performing on that app. Everything you can do that saves time and money, it's a bonus. Make a list of the virtual tasks you currently perform by yourself. Feel free to brainstorm them and share that file. This is a general question you can do if they're feeling overwhelmed and they say, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start." Okay, start from anywhere. Just have them open a Google Doc and write whatever is on their mind in terms of all the things they do. Doesn't matter if they think that they're personal. You tell them, okay, just write a whole bunch of stuff, brainstorm all the things, all the tasks that you do that you have to perform Doesn't matter if they're house chores, doesn't matter if they're related to your parents, to coworkers, to friends. Just type it all that comes to your mind and then sift through, go through that list and start highlighting the ones that will help you the most if you had someone on it to delegate them. This is a task that helps them to have clarity and also to accelerate the process of delegating stuff to you. Okay, guys? Just spit. Oh, Lord. Alrighty. So, this is what I have for you today. I hope you like it. I'm intending to create other contents to help you to understand better and to improve on skills um, to work as a VA. And I'll see you on the next video or our next contact. Okay.